One marriage changed everything. In 1972, Ollie McGraw and Steve McQueen looked like the perfect Hollywood dream. But behind the cameras, friends close to them described a relationship filled with fear, obsession, and emotional chaos that few people truly understood. Ollie had become one of the biggest stars in the world almost overnight. After Love Story exploded at the box office in 1970, Paramount reportedly received thousands of fan letters every week asking about her. And according to industry reports at the time, she became one of the most talked about women in America. But fame came with pressure. Ollie later admitted she never felt fully comfortable inside Hollywood, and that insecurity may have made Steve McQueen's attention feel impossible to resist. Then came A Getaway. The movie changed both their lives forever. Steve already carried the image of a dangerous rebel. He raced motorcycles, fought with directors, and built a reputation as Hollywood's king of cool. But insiders also whispered about his explosive temper and deep fear of being abandoned. And this is where it gets dark. People close to the production claimed the chemistry between Steve and Ollie became obvious almost immediately, even though Ollie was still married to producer Robert Evans at the time. The affair shocked Hollywood. Tabloids followed them everywhere, and the public could not look away because the relationship felt forbidden, reckless, and strangely romantic all at once. But the real story behind a romance looked very different. According to later interviews, Ollie slowly began giving up parts of herself to keep Steve happy, and psychologists often say powerful relationships like this can create emotional dependency where love and fear become impossible to separate. That pattern would only grow worse. Steve wanted complete loyalty. Friends claimed he hated when other men looked at Ollie, and some insiders even alleged he tried controlling what she wore, where she went, and who she spent time with. At first, Ollie believed the jealousy meant passion. A lot of people do, but here's what nobody told you. Sometimes the most exciting love stories become the most painful ones later. Before long, Ollie faced a choice that would haunt her for decades. Should she protect her career and independence, or sacrifice everything for the man she believed she loved? And the decision she made next shocked even her closest friends. Do you think real love should ever require someone to give up their freedom? Comment below right now. By the early 1970s, Hollywood could not stop talking about them. Every magazine wanted photos of Ollie McGraw and Steve McQueen together because their relationship felt dangerous in a way audiences secretly loved. But behind the headlines, real people were getting hurt. Ollie was still married to legendary producer Robert Evans when she and Steve fell for each other during The Getaway. Robert Evans later admitted the affair crushed him emotionally. In his memoir, he described watching his marriage collapse while the entire world read about it in newspapers almost every day. The scandal became massive. At the time, Hollywood affairs happened often, but this one felt different because both stars were at the peak of fame and the betrayal played out in public like a movie itself. What happened next shocked everyone. Ollie did not just leave her husband. She also walked away from the safe Hollywood life she had built. She chose Steve completely, and for a while felt worth it. The two married in 1973, and photographers captured glamorous vacations, expensive cars, and smiling red carpet moments that made them look untouchable. Fans believed they were watching the ultimate love story unfold in real time. But appearances can lie. Very quickly, people around the couple noticed strange changes in Ollie. Friends claimed she stopped taking certain acting roles because Steve disliked her working with other male actors. Some reports even suggested he wanted her home instead of on movie sets. According to relationship experts, controlling behavior often begins quietly. It starts with small requests that slowly become rules. And Ollie later hinted that this was exactly what happened. In later interviews, she described Steve as deeply insecure despite his macho image, and insiders claimed his fear of losing her controlled many of his decisions. Wait, it gets worse. Steve reportedly demanded that Ollie stay home while he continued building his own career without limits. The imbalance became impossible to ignore. Ollie's career cooled down dramatically during the mid-1970s, while Steve remained one of the highest-paid actors in Hollywood. According to industry reports, Steve earned millions during that period, while Ollie disappeared from many major projects that could have kept her career at the top. Many fans later wondered if she sacrificed too much too soon. But Ollie stayed. Why? Because toxic love rarely feels toxic in the beginning. Psychologists say emotionally intense relationships can create powerful attachment cycles where moments of affection make the pain easier to excuse. And Steve knew how to pull her back in. Friends described him as charming one moment and frightening the next. Ollie never knew which version she would face. That emotional uncertainty can make people feel trapped without realizing it. Then came the fights, the screaming, the jealousy, the accusations. Some insiders later claimed Steve constantly feared Ollie would leave him the same way she left Robert Evans. Ironically, the very thing that brought them together became the thing destroying their marriage from inside. And this next part changes everything. Because according to several accounts close to the couple, Steve's behavior soon crossed far beyond jealousy into something much darker. This next part of the story, very few people know about it. Subscribe right now so you never miss stories the mainstream media buries. By 1975, the marriage already looked very different from the fantasy fans saw in magazines. Behind closed doors, Ollie McGraw reportedly felt isolated, emotionally drained, and trapped inside a relationship she once believed would save her. The hardest part? Many people around them stayed silent because Steve McQueen held enormous power in Hollywood. Friends later described Steve as intensely possessive. Some claimed he checked on Ollie constantly and became furious if she received attention from other men. One story especially shocked fans years later. According to reports repeated in multiple biographies, Steve allegedly kept firearms around the house and sometimes used intimidation during arguments, creating an atmosphere that made Ollie feel unsafe. Whether every rumor was true remains debated. But Ollie herself admitted the relationship became emotionally painful and deeply controlling. And this is where it gets dark. Steve's public image made everything even harder for Ollie because the world saw him as the ultimate masculine hero. Millions admired him. Men wanted to be him, and women wanted to be near him. That kind of fame changes people. Psychologists say celebrities often become trapped inside the image the public creates for them, and Steve reportedly feared losing control over both his career and his personal life. So he tightened his grip. According to several insiders, Steve demanded loyalty at a level almost impossible to maintain. Ollie later suggested she slowly lost her own identity during those years. She stopped focusing on herself and became consumed with keeping the peace at home. But here's what nobody told you. People in controlling relationships often believe love can fix everything if they just try harder. Ollie kept trying, again and again. She defended Steve publicly even while rumors about explosive fights continued spreading through Hollywood. According to People magazine reports from that era, stories about tension inside the marriage followed the couple almost everywhere. Then things became even more painful. Steve reportedly struggled with heavy insecurity despite his tough image, and insiders claimed he often accused Ollie of betrayal without evidence. The emotional pressure wore her down. Friends said she looked exhausted during public appearances by the late 1970s. And yet, she stayed beside him, partly because she loved him, but also because leaving someone powerful can feel terrifying when your entire life has become tied to theirs. This next part changes everything, because the marriage did not collapse from one giant moment. It collapsed slowly, piece by piece. Then came the betrayal Ollie never expected. According to several reports, Steve became involved with other women while still demanding total loyalty from her. The hypocrisy devastated Ollie. She had sacrificed her career, her independence, and much of her public image to protect the marriage. Now, she realized something heartbreaking. The rules only applied to her. A 2022 discussion revisiting celebrity relationships by mental health experts noted that unequal power inside marriages often creates emotional burnout, especially when one partner sacrifices their identity for approval. Many fans believe Ali's story became a painful example of that reality. Have you ever given everything to someone, only to realize they would never do the same for you? Share your thoughts below. But the real breaking point was still coming. And when it finally happened, even Hollywood insiders were stunned by how fast everything fell apart. At the exact moment Ollie McGraw should have become one of the biggest actresses of the 1970s, her career suddenly slowed down. And many people believed one man stood at the center of it all. Before meeting Steve McQueen, Ollie's future looked unstoppable. After Love Story, she earned a Golden Globe, received an Academy Award nomination, and became one of Hollywood's highest-demand stars almost overnight. Studios wanted her everywhere. According to industry reports from the early 1970s, producers viewed Ollie as both glamorous and relatable, which made her incredibly valuable at the box office. Then everything changed. After marrying Steve in 1973, Ollie appeared in far fewer major films than many expected. At first, fans thought it was her choice. But later interviews painted a more complicated picture. Ollie eventually admitted Steve preferred having her at home instead of constantly working around other actors. Friends close to the couple claimed Steve became deeply uncomfortable whenever Ollie attracted public attention that rivaled his own. That insecurity carried a price. And Ollie paid it with her career. Wait, it gets worse. While Ollie stepped back from Hollywood, Steve continued taking major roles, building his legend, and earning enormous paychecks throughout the decade. The imbalance slowly became impossible for Ollie to ignore. She had once been the woman everybody chased in Hollywood, but now she felt herself disappearing behind Steve's shadow. Psychologists often call this identity erosion. It happens when someone slowly gives up personal goals, friendships, and independence to preserve a relationship. Ollie later spoke openly about losing herself during those years. And many viewers today relate to that pain more than the glamour of the story. Because this was never really about fame. It was about what happens when love demands too much. Then came the emotional isolation. Several insiders claimed Steve disliked many of Ollie's friends and wanted their private world kept small and controlled. The more isolated Ollie became, the harder it grew to imagine leaving. That pattern appears in many emotionally unhealthy relationships, according to mental health experts. And this next part changes everything. Because even after all the sacrifices, Steve reportedly still doubted Ollie's loyalty. Friends claimed arguments inside the home became frequent and emotionally exhausting. Some reports even described periods where the couple barely spoke except during fights. Ollie felt trapped between two impossible choices: leave a marriage and lose the man she loved, or stay and keep losing herself piece by piece. Most people never see that side of celebrity life. They see the mansions, the red carpets, and the magazine covers. But money cannot protect someone from emotional pain. Sometimes fame only hides it better. Then came the moment Ollie finally began seeing the truth clearly. The relationship she destroyed her old life to protect might never become the safe, loving marriage she imagined. And once that realization entered her mind, everything started falling apart fast. Because Steve McQueen was about to make a decision that pushed their marriage beyond repair. What I'm about to tell you in the next section is something most channels won't touch. Hit subscribe. You'll understand why. By the late 1970s, the marriage between Ollie McGraw and Steve McQueen had become emotionally exhausted. The passion that once shocked Hollywood now felt heavy, unstable, and impossible to save. But Ollie still hoped things could change. People in painful relationships often hold onto the memory of who someone used to be instead of facing who they have become. Steve, meanwhile, seemed to grow more distant. According to several biographies and entertainment reports, his behavior became harder to predict as stress inside the marriage increased. Then came the betrayal that shattered everything. Reports surfaced that Steve had become involved with other women while still demanding complete loyalty from Ollie behind closed doors. For Ollie, the pain cut deeper than simple cheating. She had sacrificed her marriage to Robert Evans, stepped away from major career opportunities, and built her entire life around Steve. Now she realized something devastating. Nothing she gave would ever be enough. And this is where it gets dark. Friends close to Ollie later suggested she had become emotionally isolated long before the marriage officially ended. That isolation changes how people think. Mental health experts say long-term emotional control can slowly damage self-confidence until someone begins questioning their own instincts and worth. Ollie reportedly reached a point where she barely recognized herself anymore. The glamorous movie star millions admired felt lost inside her own home. Then the marriage finally exploded. By 1978, after years of tension, jealousy, and emotional conflict, Ollie and Steve separated. Hollywood reacted instantly. The same tabloids that once celebrated their romance now treated the collapse like entertainment. But for Ollie, this was not gossip. It was the destruction of the life she risked everything to build. What happened next shocked everyone. Instead of publicly attacking Steve, Ollie stayed surprisingly restrained in interviews for years. That silence became part of the mystery. Many fans wondered how painful the truth must have been if she still struggled to fully discuss it decades later. And Steve himself carried deep emotional scars. People close to him claimed his difficult childhood, abandonment issues, and fear of losing control shaped much of his behavior as an adult. That does not excuse the pain, but it may explain why the relationship became so destructive. A study published by the National Institutes of Health found that emotionally volatile relationships often create cycles where both partners feel trapped between love, fear, guilt, and dependency. Many viewers today see Ollie and Steve's story through that lens. Then came another heartbreaking twist. Just a few years after the divorce, Steve McQueen faced serious health problems. In 1980, he died from cancer at only 50 years old. The sudden loss shocked Hollywood and permanently froze his image in time as a legendary rebel icon. For Ollie, the emotions became complicated. Love, anger, grief, regret, and relief all existed together. And that combination can haunt someone for decades, especially when the world only remembers the romance and ignores the suffering behind it. We've all had that one moment where everything falls apart at once. Ollie McGraw had hers in front of the entire world. Tell us yours in the comments. But now, at 85 years old, Ollie is finally speaking more openly about what those years truly did to her. And her final reflections may be the most heartbreaking part of this entire story. Now at 85 years old, Ollie McGraw looks back at a life that once felt like a dream and turned into something far more complicated. The Hollywood lights are gone, but the memories of Steve McQueen still follow her in quiet, painful ways that time has never fully erased. In later interviews, Ollie spoke with calm honesty about those years. She did not paint Steve as a simple villain, but she also did not hide how deeply the relationship affected her sense of self and freedom. And this is where it gets emotional. Ollie has suggested that love, in its most intense form, can sometimes blur the line between devotion and self-loss. She once believed she was choosing a fairy tale life, a powerful man, a legendary romance, a story everyone would admire forever. But reality slowly became different. According to her reflections over the years, the emotional weight of the relationship left marks that took a very long time to heal. Psychologists often say that people in high-intensity relationships can carry emotional memory long after the relationship ends. That means the body and mind still react to pain even when the danger is gone. Ollie's calm life today stands in sharp contrast to her past. She lives more privately now,